The first game in the quarterfinals at this year's Rugby World Cup in France was between Wales and Argentina, and 61% of you who voted on my community page thought Wales was going to win this game. In this video I'm going to do a full review of the game. G'day and welcome to Inside Rugby with Mark. I'm a Kiwi rugby fan living here in beautiful Cancun, Mexico. If you haven't been here before to my channel, welcome. It's fantastic to have you here. Now we've got a fantastic morning again here in Mexico, and it's a great day to talk about that game between Wales and Argentina. That was the first game off the rank in this year's quarterfinals of the 2023 Rugby World Cup. Now in this game, I think a lot of people, yourself, expected, 61% of you thought that Wales was going to win this game, and they thought, and you probably thought like I did, they might have a little bit too much firepower for Argentina, and Argentina probably hadn't hit their straps so far in this tournament, so that was probably something we were all thinking about that was going to give Wales the edge. Warren Gatland had this team firing pretty well as they were starting to move through the Rugby World Cup, and I thought that's what probably gave us a lot of confidence that Wales was going to be able to do this one on Argentina. But as we all know, you should never underestimate an Argentinian rugby team when they have their backs against the wall. And Michael Cheika as well as a coach of this team. Jaco Peyper was a referee for this game being played in Marseille. It would be the venue of the game also on Sunday between England and Fiji. Now, like most games of rugby at this level, the first 20 minutes of a game is very vital, and I was interested to see who was going to get the dominance in this game in the first 20 minutes, but also what strategy they were going to bring to the game. And Argentina started off really well indeed in this game. They got the ball in hand and they put together 12 phases in their first time at possession in the game, and it went really well. They ended up getting a penalty at the end of that 12 phases, and Boffelli, their goal kicker, came up and took a shot at goal, but unfortunately he missed that. An opportunity to go ahead in the game was passed on by Argentina. Wales had a few opportunities in that first 10 minutes with ball in hand and getting a little bit of possession, but for me Argentina looked a little bit more creative. They were taking it up and past the Welsh line and causing a few problems for Wales, and it was obvious to me that Argentina were going to get some chances in this game. Wales also had the phenomenon of their numbers were falling off their rugby jerseys. Haven't seen that before in a World Cup game. Let me know if you have in the comments, when their numbers are not sticking on their back. So yeah, a couple of the Welsh players within even 10 minutes of this game had lost the numbers off the back of their jerseys. Quite a unique situation, I thought. But it was in the 14th minute of that first half that we saw the first scores in this game, and it was through a great Welsh attacking move where George North went up the middle of the field, got Davies and Beggar away, and Dan Beggar got to score a great try for the Welsh. Beggar got the conversion and Wales were out to 7 points to nil at that point in the game. And then something happened that I'd never seen before in a rugby game at this level, and that was Jaco Peyper had an injury, the referee, and he actually went off the field, and Carl Dixon came on to referee the game for the rest of the game. So that was an unusual situation, and seeing the referee limping off after just 14 minutes of play. So right on the 20-minute mark, we got an Argentinian indiscretion at a breakdown. A penalty ensued to Wales, and Wales got that kick over successfully with Dan Beggar. So Wales went out to 10 points to nil after 20 minutes of this game, and I felt at that stage that the Wales team had the ascendancy in this game. Their strategy that they were bringing was working. They took the ball out wide. They showed they wanted to play an open and expansive game in this game, and then every now and again they'd hit it up the middle and try and make a break through the Argentinian defence, and that worked of course for that try that they scored in the 14th minute. So the first part of the first half, I gave that to Wales. The second part of the first half didn't start well for Argentina. Their inside centre, Chocobaris, was injured and he had to go off, and Moroni came on the field. Now I thought that if Argentina wanted to stick in this game, they needed to start scoring some points before half time. and they needed to start to show something a little bit different against this Welsh team, because they weren't making any headroads into getting points. And I think that's where Wales were good in the beginning of the game. When they did go down to the Argentinian territory, they were able to come away with points on the board. And as we all know, in this Rugby World Cup, that's been a critical outcome for teams that have been successful. So in the 28th minute of the game, another penalty opportunity for Wales. Dan Beggar, who's got an 87% success rate in this tournament, came up and he missed the kick at goal. Now that could have been quite instrumental in this game, because it would have put Wales out to a 13-0 lead, but he didn't get that goal, and Argentina survived that particular opportunity. And then with 5 minutes to go in the first half, it was Argentina's opportunity to put some attacking phases together, and they started looking a lot better in this game. The first one, around the 36-minute mark, they got an opportunity for a penalty, and Buffelli stepped up and got that. So we were back to 10 points to 3. And then right on half-time, we saw Josh Adams do a bit of a dumb brain thing in terms of tackling a player without the ball. And Argentina got another penalty, and it was 10 points to 6, and that was a halftime score in this game. So for that second part of the first half, between the 20 minutes and 40 minutes, I gave that to Argentina, because they started to show a lot more creativity in play. They won that part of the game 6 points to 0 on the scoreboard, and I thought they were really back into this game at halftime. So 10-6 at half-time, and a couple of factors that stood out for me in that first half. Jack Morgan was having a fantastic game for Wales. I really like this young kid. He's a great leader for the Welsh team, but he's also instrumental in the breakdowns. He was doing so much work and looking really, really good. Dan Beggar was doing his normal stuff for Wales. He's a very important player to this team. He's the pivot at number 10 that the Welsh backline rely on. And they were trying to get the ball out wide in this game, Wales, in the first half, and it wasn't quite working. Argentina's defence were up to it. They read exactly what Wales were trying to do, except for the try that they scored, and they were able to keep Wales out. So I thought that Wales, going into the second half, needed to change their strategy. They needed to come up with a different option on how they were going to play this game, because I thought Argentina, particularly in the second part of that first half, were starting to understand how Wales were coming at them, and they worked out some solutions for that. So Argentina, I thought, did a really good job in reading this game in the first half, and going into the sheds at 10-6 at half-time, I think Michael Cheika would have been fairly happy, because Argentina could come out and apply more pressure to Wales in the second half. Wales were then going to have to come up with something to counteract that. So I thought that 20-minute period after half-time was going to be really, really critical in this game, and I was interested to see what was going to happen. So the second half got underway, and Argentina put on the emphasis straight away, and they looked really, really good when they got ball in hand. They started putting Wales under a lot of pressure, and they got down to attack within that first minute or so, earned themselves another penalty, and that man Buffelli got the kick at goal. So we were back to 10 points to 9. It was a one-point game, and Wales was starting to look like they were creaking a little bit and didn't have any solutions. As this game went on, it reminded me a little bit of the game between Wales and Fiji, when Fiji started coming back into that game against Wales. Wales seemed to lose their track in the game, and that was happening in this game against Argentina. As Argentina got more possession, they started to use that in territory. They started running at Wales. Wales seemed to be hanging on the edge in this game, and it was signs of pretty much like what happened against Fiji for me anyway, as I was watching the game. And then between the 45th minute and the 50th minute of this game, a couple of things happened that I caught my eye that I think really made a difference in this game. The first one was in the 46th minute, Buffelli stood up to an opportunity to kick for goal at 55 metres out. We all know he's a long-range goal kicker. He can slot balls over from this distance. And this was a really critical part of the game, because Buffelli got this kick over, and it put Argentina in the lead in this game for the first time. They went ahead 12 points to 10. And then a couple of minutes later, Dan Beggar got injured in a tackle, and you could see on the television that he was struggling with that same pec injury that he had in the previous game. And I thought this was going to be a big problem for Wales at that time. Now, Beggar didn't come off the field at that stage. He stayed on the field, but every time the TV cameras were on him, I was checking him out, and he was really struggling in back play. So with Beggar, I think that was a big mistake, because I think he would have told the medic what had happened, that he'd redone that injury to the pec, and he was going to stay on the field. And I think it would have been better to have Costello on at that stage. They had him sitting on the bench. Yes, he's a young guy, inexperienced at this level in a quarterfinal of Rugby World Cup, but I think it's better to have a fully fresh player on the field than it is to have Dan Beggar injured and trying to save himself. And obviously karma came into this game a little bit later. So that 5 minutes around the 45 to 50 minute mark was fairly critical in the game. Buffelli getting that long range penalty, Dan Beggar getting injured at that stage and staying on the field. Now Argentina around this stage of the game were really applying the pressure, and there was a bit of a scuffle that went on as well in the game, and I think this fired up the Argentinians. Lavini, Isa, Crema, Codello, they all got fired up, and you could see their presence in the game becoming a lot more, and Crema in particular in the breakdowns, and Lavini as well were doing some really great work. So I think it was good for them to have that little bit of a scuffle. It got them got the blood flowing and adrenaline going through their veins, and it really changed the Argentinian emphasis, and it was a good move on their behalf. And then between the 55th and 57th minute, we saw something else that's been really interesting in games of recent time as well. On the 55th minute, Michael Cheika pulled the ripcord on the bench and brought some bench players on, and then 1 minute later Wales scored a try. So quite interesting when bench players come on and they haven't settled into the game, that the opposition finds an opportunity to get through the defence, whether there's a lapse in concentration of those new players that have come on and they haven't quite got into the rhythm of the game in that split moment, and then a team goes and scores a try, and that's exactly what happened. And we saw Thomas Williams dive through the middle of a pack and go straight under the post. A great break for Wales and a great try. They took on that inside defence. Thomas Williams, he'd come on the field as a replacement for Davies. So Dan Beggar got the conversion, and Wales were out to 17 points to 12. Now on the 60th minute mark, Liam Williams went off with an injury for Wales, and it looked like it was the same injury that he had in the previous game. So one would imagine that he had some kind of niggle coming into this game, and he lasted 60 minutes. So a big loss for Wales, losing Liam Williams on the 60th minute mark. And it was going to be interesting to see how they go for the last 20 minutes. So for that period of play between half time and the 60-minute mark, I'd give that just to Wales. They edged it by 7 points to 6 on the scoreboard, and I think they showed enough that they were being creative enough to get through the Argentinian defence line, but it's still a very close game at that stage. Argentina swapped halfbacks in the 61st minute. Velez came on for them and immediately started to have an impact. I thought he was starting off playing very well. The last 20 minutes of this game was going to be huge, because I thought it was going to be able to go any way, and any team that got some ascendancy was going to come out on top. Now around 64 minutes we had a TMO case that took ages of time to deliberate over, and it could have been a yellow card moment, but it wasn't. All players stayed on the field, and there was just a penalty for that one. 65 minutes, Creevy came on for Argentina, and we all know how a brilliant player he is, over 100 caps for Argentina, and he brought on not only that experience but his raw power as well. And coincidentally, Argentina went up to another level for that period of the game, and they started creating a lot of forward phases down on attack in the Welsh line. And it was over a period of about 3 or 4 minutes, Argentina went on this rampaging attack through their forwards, picking and rolling, getting closer and closer to the Welsh line and putting a lot of pressure on Wales. Whenever Wales got the opportunity during this play, they were kicking the ball away. They were under a lot of pressure. They were trying to relieve that pressure through kicks, and they weren't getting any opportunities to create attacking play on their own side. Argentina weren't giving up on this, and they kept rolling towards the Welsh goal line. And that pressure Argentina had on through that pick and roll through the forwards eventually ended in a try to Scalvi, who went over in the whole pack of forwards. And it was well played by Argentina. Really good try after putting immense pressure on the Welsh defensive line. And so it was back to 17 all with a kick to come, so an opportunity for Argentina to go into the lead for the first time in this game, and Buffelli got the conversion over. So Argentina hit the lead in the 66th minute, 19 points to 17. In the 69th minute of the game, we had Nicolas Sanchez come on for Santiago Carreras, and that was a good move by Michael Cheika. I think Sanchez played really well in that last game for Argentina against Japan. He was instrumental in getting Argentina around the ground in the last part of that game. And I think with his enormous amount of experience, it was a really, really good move to bring him on. I think Carreras had one of his better games in this tournament, in this game. He did some really good kicks, and he had a couple of really good runs in this game as well. So I think it was probably his best game of the Rugby World Cup so far. But having Sanchez on there with just 12 minutes to go, I thought gave Argentina a bit of an edge in terms of experience and being able to move Argentina around the field. But then on the 71st minute, we saw a fantastic break by Wales. Rio Dyer slipped a couple of tackles, went down, was looking for support. If there was somebody on his right-hand side that he could have got the ball to, then Wales would have scored a definite try. He came back to the left, passed it to Lewis Rees-Zammit, and well, he went into the tackle actually, and then the ball came out to Lewis Rees-Zammit, and Zammit went for the goal line, and it was a try-saving tackle by Moroni, who had come on for Argentina as a replacement, and keeping Lewis Rees-Zammit out from scoring that particular try that could have made a huge difference in this particular game. So a great attack by Wales, but a try-saving tackle by Moroni in the corner in the 71st minute. Fantastic stuff from Argentina. Now the next couple of minutes of the game, 75 and 76 minutes, turned out to be the changing of the game indeed. 75 minutes, Dan Beggar finally went off. He had another injury, so he was probably carrying 2 injuries when he went off. He was limping significantly, but I'm also pretty sure he was suffering from that pec injury that he had re-injured in the beginning of the second half. So Costello came on for Beggar to replace him at number 10. Young guy had been playing pretty well throughout the tournament and was going to take on the responsibility for the remainder of the game for Wales at number 10. Unfortunately, it didn't work out for Sam Costello on this occasion. Wales got a backline move. He got the ball. He went to pass it to George North, and that man Sanchez, who had come on, got an intercept from the pass and took off towards the Welsh goal line, and he scored a try right under the post. And Sam Costello's look on his face, well, absolute despair, as he gave away an intercept pass to Argentina to put them right under the post with just 6 minutes left in this game. So absolute despair for Sam Costello giving that intercept pass, but Nicolas Sanchez, what a player. It was his 102nd test match for Argentina. He's 34 years old, and boy, what a move by Michael Cheika bringing him on. And it's a player with that kind of experience that's looking for that kind of opportunity late in a tight quarterfinal game at a Rugby World Cup, and he was able to pull it off. So a fantastic move from Argentina and bringing Sanchez on, and a fantastic move by Sanchez to get that ball, secure it, and have the speed to get to the Welsh line unattested and scoring those points. So the conversion was put over by Boffelli, and Argentina went out to 26 points to 17 with just a couple of minutes to go in the game, and the Wales head started to go down at that stage. And then we got to the 80th minute in the game, and there was a penalty to Argentina, and to rub salt into the wounds, Sanchez came up and got the kick over to make it successful. 29 points to 17 it went out to Argentina. That would be the final score in this first quarter-final of the Rugby World Cup 2023 in France, and it was well played by Argentina. They really came together in that second half, and they really put their strategy together that worked to Wales. They did their homework on this Welsh team, and it really showed from half-time onwards on how they could gain territory, possession, using their big forwards, going hard in the breakdown, but then putting the ball out wide and testing the Welsh defence. All of it worked. They played very, very well, and they deserved this win against Wales. So we talk about how important that last 20 minutes of these games is, and in the last 20 minutes of this game, between the 60 and 80th minute, Argentina scored 17 points, Wales scored none. So very, very important, and that's the time that the benches were changed as well. So Argentina did better with the benches coming on and scoring points in this game in the last 20 minutes. Kudos to them for a great performance. I think Michael Cheika, everybody associated with this Argentina team, have to be very proud of this win against Wales. I think Argentina have fooled a lot of people throughout this tournament, saying they haven't been playing very well. They're obviously building into the tournament, as Wales were doing as well, I thought. but Argentina really had the mettle yesterday to come up and have this win against Wales. So a great day by the Argentinian forwards. They were very, very big in the breakdowns and the collisions. They won significantly in the second half, and 100% success in the scrums, and 10 out of 10 line-out wins. So a big day for the Argentinian forwards, and kudos to them. Played very, very well in this game, and they're going to take that momentum now throughout the rest of this World Cup that they're going to be playing in. Jack Morgan for Wales had a great game, 16 tackles in total. Lewis Rees-Zammit, 132 metres run. Those guys had very, very good games for Wales indeed. But again, I think there was a mistake leaving Beggar on the field for too long as an injured man. He wasn't able to do what Wales needed to do. And I think having Sam Costello on earlier in this game would have got him into that game. And maybe he wouldn't have made that mistake that happened at the end that cost Wales this game. So there we go, a good win for Argentina across Wales this weekend in the first quarter-final game in the Rugby World Cup. 29 points to 17. Great for the Argentinian fans who were in great song in the stadium. It was fantastic to see them. 61% of us here on the community page on my channel got the prediction wrong in this game. And Argentina will go on now to play the New Zealand All Blacks in the semi-final next Friday at the Stade de France in Paris. A short turnaround for these teams, so it's going to be interesting to see how they recover and what team selections they put in for the game next weekend. And don't forget, I'm going to be doing a whole lot of videos around those games heading into the semi-finals right here on Inside Rugby with Mark. So don't forget, if you like my rugby channel, hit the subscribe button, give us a thumbs up in this video and a like, and drop me your comments on this game. What did you think at half-time? Did you think Wales had this one in the bag? Or did you expect Argentina to come back as they did in the second half and scoring those 17 points in the last 20 minutes? Quite a significant factor in this game. I thought they played really, really well. But I'd like to hear what you think. Do you think Argentina got any chance against the All Blacks next weekend in the semi-final? Drop me your comments. I'd love to read them all. Okay, well that's it for this particular video. Another big day of rugby on Sunday in this year's Rugby World Cup. We've got England against Fiji first in Marseille, and then we've got the big one between France and the Springboks at the Stade de France in Paris. Another repeat perhaps of that terrific game between the All Blacks and Ireland. We'll see how France and the Springboks deliver this Sunday at the Rugby World Cup. Until next time, stay well, stay safe everybody, and I'll see you again really soon in another video. Until then, bye for now.